This evening, let's explore channels and chakras. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. Brought to you by the good-hearted folks who help support this channel on Patreon. This evening, we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two. But first, if you love Star Wars, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as General Leia Organa on Ajan Class under the guidance of Luke Skywalker, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Wrong button. Good news. If at any point during this evening's live stream you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation or Buddhist philosophy or how to apply them to your life, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of your screen. In America, tales of the 7 Hindu chakras or the 7 Kundalini chakras are popular. However, in India, that is not the only chakra system. There is a lesser-known Buddhist chakra system that some say predate the very popular Hindu chakra system. It's based on a central channel with 2 side channels, but the wheels, instead of being perpendicular or horizontal, assuming the person is sitting upright. The channel on the right is the sun channel. This channel on the left is the moon channel. In Tibet, it is taught that if you wish to have a good night's sleep, sleep on your right-hand side, which will compress your sun channel and allow your sedating moon channel to support your sleep. However, in the morning, if you get up before your alarm clock, roll over and lay on your left side to compress the moon child to allow the energizing sun child on the right to energize. Now, do I know this is a fact? No. Do I know of any laboratory tests that could verify this? No. Have I experimented in my own body? Yes. Is that really an experiment? No, it's just anecdotal evidence. That's all. But since it costs nothing to experiment with it, and you really can't hurt yourself doing it, there's nothing to risk. So let's talk about those chakras now. You have your crown chakra at the Brahman aperture, or the fontanelle, the crown of the head. You have a throat chakra, the part of your throat that it kind of feels like it tightens up before you cry. You have a heart chakra at the place between your nipples before you hit puberty, if any of us can remember what that was at. We skip the solar plex in Buddhism and go straight to the navel chakra, and then we come to the secret chakra. That's what they call it in patriarchy. I think matriarchy would call it a womb chakra, but many men with very small egos can't handle that. So those three are color-coded, and they're color-coded white, red, blue, yellow, and green. And they are correlated to the 5 jhana Buddhas, Vairochana, Amitabha, Akshobhya, Ratnasambhava, and Amoghasiddhi. They are correlated to the 5 element system: space, fire, water, earth, and wind. Now I'm going to say something that is very controversial. In Tibet, we see 3 flavors of Tantra that have been ostensibly united to form one cohesive system, but they didn't begin that way. We see a set of Tantra known as Mahayoga, or generation stage, or creation stage, or Tokal, also known as leap over, or Tantra Mahamudra. And it's based on visualizations that pertain to the 4 bases of mindfulness, that pertain to the mental, the interpersonal, the physical, and the circumstantial. And these visualizations could support one's training in both love and letting go. Nothing wrong with love and letting go. They're part of the Eightfold Path. The second school of Tantra that was incorporated into Tibetan practice is also known by many names. Some call it completion stage, or Anu Yoga, or Bindu Mahamudra, or Tikle, or drop. And it's about your channels, winds, and drops, which are known in Sanskrit as channels would be nadi, winds would be prana, and drops would be bindu. And it was lore about this system that first drew me to Tibetan Buddhism, because quite frankly, I wanted to do magic. I wanted to be a Jedi Knight. I wanted to be able to make cops I wanted to get cops under my control using the Jedi mind trick. I thought it'd be great fun to have a cop do the I'm the Little Teapot short and stout song with full dance on the side of a road, because I'm apparently a child. So but after years of practice and years of study, I can safely say it doesn't work that way. There is a little known, a lesser known, and oft dismissed third school of Tantra. And it too is known by many names. Some call it the Great Completion Stage. Some people call it the Ati Yoga. Some people call it Sutra Mahamudra, which really is a diminutive or demeaning. And some call it Treksho, or slice through, which sounds very mystical. It's also known as Mahasandhi, and Dzogchen. So having spent decades practicing and studying full time, sitting for more than 7 3-year retreats, I can tell you that the school of Tantra that can give you the quickest results, the most dramatic results, the most complete results, with the easiest, with the minimum amount of time and effort, is that last one. And it is not supposed to rely on channels, winds, and drops. It is not supposed to rely on visualizations or prayers or mantras. Now, when you go back and read the ancient texts, they make this quite clear. However, in contemporary circles, the contemporary teachers contradict the ancient writings. Not 100% of the time, but enough. And the people who tend to do this are typically, they're much more rigid than they are flexible. They're much more fearful than they are loving. They are much more controlling than they are laid back. These people are much more elitist than they are egalitarian. They're much more competitive. They're much more cryptic than they are lucid. They are much more, what's the word I'm looking for? Competitive than they are cooperative, and they're much more cruel than they are kind. But for some reason, these people tend to do really well at gaining influence and gaining money. And in the West, the people with the most money have the loudest voices, metaphorically speaking. People can do whatever they want. But sometimes people contradict their intentions, sometimes deliberately, sometimes accidentally. I'm no stranger to this. I know exactly what it's like to say those Buddha statues are cool, and those people with shaved head and robes really look cool, and I want to be one with them. But I also want to get what I want when I want it for as long as I want it. The fact is, when we read the ancient teachings, that's antithetical to what the Buddha taught. The Buddha did not teach that witchcraft was wrong, or that using religion to gain wishes is wrong. He simply said, that's not what I teach. That's what the Buddha said. In the Dhammapada, we read his teachings against ritual, saying better 1 hour in meditation than an entire lifetime practicing ritual. He taught time and again that it is the tyranny of hating and craving and clinging in our lives that exacerbate our experience of stress. And that the liberation he offers is not liberation from annoyances, but liberation from our own survival impulses, whose tyranny over our choices and utterances and deeds can make us play the fool, can ruin our relationships, and ruin our health, and ruin our happiness. And so the Buddha wasn't a cranky dude out to make other people cranky dudes or dudettes, which I think in the 80s we said dudes and dudettes, and I think now it's just everyone's a dude, and I'm totally cool with that. That wasn't his deal. His deal was, I don't know about you guys, but I want a solution to suffering. And if you want to actualize what I've actualized, these are the techniques you may find useful, you may find helpful. So the Buddha wasn't an evangelist. He wasn't knocking people upside the skull, and he wasn't telling people they were going to go to hell. He was simply saying, if you want to gain the results I've regained, this is how. And so for me, the question is not which technique is older. And the question is not which technique is more popular. The question is, which technique seems to work in my own body, in my own life, and my own mind the best? Which seems to help me be the peaceful, joyful, loving person, the good person that my dog or my neighbor's dog already thinks I am. To me, that's the test of the teaching. The results that we get from a specific technique, when we apply that technique correctly, once every 12 hours for as little as 7 consecutive days. After that short period of time, we can tell whether something's working for us or not. So let's tie this up in a big red bow. To me, it's more important to practice Buddhist meditation than it is to practice Buddhist energy magic, or Buddhist mantra magic, or Buddhist visualization magic. Sometimes I've responded to people's needs from a place of enthusiasm, but imperfect knowledge, and taught publicly Buddhist manifesting techniques, sometimes vaunting it as effortless mindfulness. I'm sorry, effortless manifestation. That's the word. And you know what? It is. It really works. But it feeds our duality. The duality that strives to shove some things away and strives to pull other things towards us. There are many spiritual practitioners. Some of them are Buddhist. There are many Buddhist practitioners. Some of them are my heroes. The ones that I respect the most have always been more matriarchal than patriarchal. And they've always been more concerned with peace and love and joy than prestige and power and money. So I don't emphasize the teachings of channels, ones, and drops. Now, they're affected by everything. They're affected by what we choose and say and do. They're affected, like everything else, by what other people do. So as we sit in meditation, we might notice things going on in our body, and that's great. Noticing what's going on is awesome. It's the first of the 7 enlightenment factors. But remember, there's a huge difference between noticing what's going on and trying to control what's going on. When it comes to the Buddha's path of meditation, you and I are not the playwrights. We're not the producers or the directors or the thespians. We're just members of the audience enjoying the ride. And if we do that, if we apply the Buddha's meditation instructions and mindfulness instructions, although we won't be masters of the universe, we will be peaceful and loving and happy. So let's turn our attention to the latest iteration of the Easy Meditation Practice Text, or sadhana, if you're fancy. So let's begin with a textual recitation. And I'd like to turn our attention to Gaurab Dorje's Spaciousness of Dorje Sampa. Together, let's chant. From within the field of our understanding, the bliss of mindfulness's inhalation arises, revealing the ordinary world as pristinely pure, with meditation's every exhalation. I think this will make more sense if I reverse the sequence. So please bear with me. Let's hit, and let's find the accent button. That makes it prettier. At least I think it does. And let's chant again. From within the field of our understanding, the bliss of mindfulness's inhalation arises, and with meditation's every exhalation, revealing the ordinary world as pristinely pure. When metaphoric lights from all directions come together in one heart through mindfulness's inhalation, one realizes omnipresent divinity above, below, and in all directions with meditation's every exhalation. Aha. From the colors of the rainbow, the primordial families and the qualities, all figuratively manifest in the transmutation of the 5 poisons into the 5 wisdoms. This requires some explaining. So here's how it works. Whenever we notice hatred as we breathe in, as we relax into our exhalation, that exact same hatred transforms into mirror-like wisdom. And craving in the same manner transforms into discerning wisdom. Confusion transforms into the wisdom of the basic space of phenomena. Jealousy or competitiveness transforms into all-accomplishing wisdom. And, pride or clinging transforms into equalizing wisdom. So, it probably doesn't happen in a second. It can happen over several seconds or several minutes or several hours. And it isn't a permanent change. We're always are capable of experiencing the full spectrum of human emotions, from the glorious to the grotesque. But by noticing and releasing in harmony with our inhalation and exhalation, we're no longer controlled by those negative drives. Let's continue. Compounded moving parts in the uncompounded unmoving base, along with the deities of the 5 elements that animate creation. Which sounds spooky. What it means is, when we spontaneously notice our water element, as we breathe in, once we begin relaxing in harmony with our exhalation, that it is as if that water element is as empowered as the real or imagined Buddhist archetype, Akshobhya. And the same is true with fire and Amitabha, space and Vairocana, wind and Amakosiddhi, and earth with Ratnasambhava. So once again, these are similes. We're not trying to do magic. We're simply trying to find empowerment. Whatever we notice when we breathe in is empowered by physically relaxing and mentally releasing as we exhale. Let's continue. Notions like past, present, and future cannot comprehend the nature of the unborn unceasing. In truth, nothing arises, nothing ceases. The wisdom of Source unifies all and dispels any such notions. Equal in all its manifestations, there is nothing to gradually arrange. So what does that mean? There are people who earn a lot of money disempowering their students, telling them it's going to take years and decades and lifetimes and hundreds and thousands of lifetimes for them to become as awesome as they. And therefore, these students must continue worshiping their teachers and giving them lots of time and money. Malarkey. Dzogchen, Hatha Yoga, Mahamudra, were originally designed for rapid enlightenment, quick enlightenment, days, not lifetimes, to enlightenment. I should say, so basically, for instance, once someone is comfortable with the meditation technique and their body and mind have acclimated to the idea of meditating for 60 minutes every 12 hours, then you can master the path in a week, which is remarkably quick. And most of us aren't born ready to meditate for 6 minutes at a pop. So if you have a good teacher, you'll start off at 5 minutes every 12 hours. The first week. The second week, 10 minutes every 12 hours. The third week, 15 minutes every 12 hours. And by the end of the 12th week, which is, less than 3 months, you're good to go. So this isn't a long thing. This is a quick, easy path. If someone tells you otherwise, they are lazy-minded or perhaps deceitful. We come now to mindfulness and meditation, which are known by many names, such as Zen, or Proto-Zen, or Chan, or Dhyana, or Mahamudra, or Ati Yoga, or Dzogchen, or Trekcho. And just like I mentioned a few moments ago, the key to mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite the pronoun this during each inhalation. And to silently, and the key to meditation is to silently and mentally recite the verb ease, which is a synonym of relax, during each exhalation. This will cause us to automatically perceive as we breathe in and automatically release as we breathe out. Yes, the Buddha's path can be just that simple. We don't control what we see, hear, feel, taste, smell, or the like. We don't choose what we emote, intend, reason, recall, or imagine. We simply observe, vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly, and release. There are some teachers who are rigid and others are flexible, but the ancient texts make it clear that striving will not a Buddha make. This is supposed to be an easy path and a pleasurable path. So be gentle with your body, and it will serve your mind. Ignore your body's needs, and your mental needs will not be met. So when you feel tired, it's okay to leave. Come back tomorrow. Meditation, when done properly, should be less like taking out the trash and more like eating your favorite dessert. So Cosmic Love wrote, "Alrighty, I have COVID, so every inch of my body hurts. I want to meditate like a Jedi, but it's not working tonight." So please, my friend, take care of yourself. and rely on friends and health advisors to find a strategy or fine tune your current strategy to meet your needs. And if you need to go to bed early, go to bed early. If you need to cuddle up with your cat or your dog or your partner or all the above, then do that. I completely understand, and to you I send a great big psychic hug. Welcome to this evening's live stream. The moment you have a question about Buddhist meditation or Buddhist philosophy or how to apply them to your life, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. As you breathe in, silently and mentally recite this. As you exhale, silently and mentally recite the verb is. That's how you notice and release in harmony with your breathing. Meditating kind of reminds me of the movie 300. There was a wonderful line, two wonderful lines, uttered or screamed by the drill instructor. Is there any place you would rather be? Is there anything you would rather be doing? If there is, then do those things. Life is short. Do what serves you well. We have sat together for about the better half of an hour. And you might find it refreshing to knock out a few geriatric step back squat thrusts. If you feel I have earned it, you could type something in the chat window. You could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could share it with a friend. You could even help support this channel on Patreon. In approximately 10 2/3 hours, I could return to lead tomorrow's early morning meditation. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.